So much recent effort has focused on what our kids are learning in schools. But don't lose sight of the rekindled debate on where they're learning. It all has to do with something called open enrollment, also known as school choice, the ability for a parent to pull their kid out of their assigned public school to go to another. It's a polarizing issue for a number of reasons, like funding, tax dollars, just the overall impact these choices could have. Open enrollment's already in the works in Kansas. Last year, Governor Laura Kelly signed a bill into law paving the way for these choices starting in the 2024-25 school year. And now in Missouri, after Republicans spent years trying to do the same, a similar measure is gaining steam in Jeff City. The bill, which passed the House, would allow up to 3% of a public school district students to leave and learn elsewhere. It is an opt-in program, meaning districts could decide against accepting other students, but not from letting theirs leave. And an important note here, state and federal funding would follow the student, but local money would stay local. The bill's Republican sponsor tells me it's all about choice.
It gives those parents that are paying the taxes in the local school district the say-so in what their school is going to look like. I believe most will stay where they're at. I believe that.
That's Sedalia Representative Brad Pollitt saying he thinks most students would stay put. Critics argue some of them won't have a choice, especially if it's cost prohibitive for families or if a student has special needs and the other district can't accommodate them. They're also worried what opening this door will do to districts.
This legislation, if passed, will continue to segregate students by race, by class, and by ability.
Competition is only competition if the rules are fair and the playing field is level. And in this case, it is certainly not.
Several superintendents and administrators spoke out against the bill before the House vote last month, including someone we know well, Kenny Southwick, Executive Director of the Cooperating School Districts of Greater Kansas City, which represents more than 322,000 Missouri students. Thanks for coming on the show again. I know school choice or open enrollment is something that you are hearing a lot about from districts, especially lately.
Yeah, it really is. It's been on our radar for the last 3 years. As you know, we're in a national movement for choice schools, to support choice schools. And it's very prevalent in the state of Missouri. So we've watched it very closely, not only in the Kansas City region, but across the state, trying to look at what overall impact will be to school districts and communities, more importantly communities and students. Without knowing the outcome, this is, I think, an experiment we're not willing to take right now. So,
what are your biggest concerns? Are you worried about losing students, losing staff, losing funding, all of the above?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start and try not to speak administrator and talk about money first. Obviously, we don't have a formula that works for this. But I think anytime we start to take our students, which are our richest resources, out of communities all over across the state, large districts, small districts, it doesn't matter, they lose the richest resource they have in their community. Some of our communities, quite honestly, if this goes through, we believe will cease to exist. If they lose their school, which is the lifeblood of their community, where they can't operate their schools anymore, the communities will dry up and they'll go away.
As we said, I spoke with Representative Brad Pollitt a little bit about this. He sees this as a compromise, right? There's the 3% cap, keeping this within the public school system, not roping private schools into this. Here's a bit more of what he had to say.
I think that open enrollment is a pro-public school bill. I really believe it is. You know, there's a lot of concerns about consolidation and those types of things. And I believe that if you've got a good public school, that I don't think you have anything to worry about.
That seems counter to what you were just saying. I'd love to get your reaction to what he said.
Yeah, it is a consolidation bill. We know that as a result of this, there will be some school systems, which have been expressed by superintendents all across the state, that aren't going to be able to operate anymore. So we're concerned about that. We're also concerned about what kind of system we set up when parents are making decisions to move their kids out of their community, say 30 miles away.
Okay.
But, not all of our students and families are going to be able to access those services. So this becomes kind of a bill and a law of privilege.
It speaks to equity.
It speaks exactly to equity. And if we're going to wake up, I think, and I'm not trying to overreact to this, but we're going to see a whole new environment of segregation based not only on race, but also on poverty. And we work so hard to make things equitable.
To the parents who say, look, I'm all for choice. I'm not happy with my current school district. I would love to move my kid across town or to the town next door. What do you say?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to ask parents to get involved in their local communities. And if they're concerned about their school district, have a voice. Don't run from that problem. Make that community stronger with your involvement. And there are ways to do that. Our local school districts are ran by our locally elected officials. And everybody should have a voice and make sure they take the opportunity to have that voice.
This bill, if it passes the Senate, goes to the governor's desk, would take effect 2024-2025 school year. Does that give your districts enough time to try to get their affairs in order?
Well, if this bill passes and it's signed by the governor, then our districts will implement it. It'll be a whole nother industry of things that we're going to have to figure out. And we'll do that. But the situation is such that let's put the resources into all of our schools across the state of Missouri. And as we do that, let's make sure that we provide equal opportunity for all of our kids across the state. And I think Representative Pollitt really has good intentions. He's been a school administrator. He worked in the state of Iowa. But I just think that we're not ready in the state of Missouri for open enrollment.
All right. Well, Kenny Southwick, we appreciate you getting to the heart of this matter. Thank you very much. We're going to be watching this bill and many more working their way through Jeff City this session. Look for updates in the weeks ahead on KMBC 9 News and here on Heart of the